It says here we should work in teams. Who wants to be my spotter?
I don't think you should be doing too much gambling tonight, Alan.
Gambling? Who said anything about gambling? It's not gambling when you know you're going to win. Counting cards is a foolproof system.
It's also illegal.
It's not illegal. It's frowned upon, like masturbating on an airplane.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal, too.
Yeah, maybe after 9/11, where everybody got so sensitive. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
Either way, you gotta be super smart to count cards, buddy, okay?
Oh, really?
It's not easy.
Okay, well, maybe we should tell that to Rain Man, because he practically bankrupted a casino, and he was a retard.
What?
He was a retard.
The Tainted Glove presents Yumper and Svo at the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Oh, what a big man you are. Hey, let me buy you a pack of gum. I'll show you how to chew it. Ooh.
And Justin Svo Svoboda.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 6 of Yumper and Svo at the Show, presented by the Tainted Glove. I'm your host, Tom Garcia, a.k.a. Yumper, and I'm with my co-host, Justin Svo Svoboda. What's up, Svo?
Hey, guys. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I do have the White Sox game on in the background while we're recording because it is baseball season.
Slacker. No, I was watching the Cubs a little bit when I was eating earlier. But, Svo, long time no see, my friend. Long time no see.
It's been a few weeks. What has been going on?
I don't know. I took a vacation with the wife, met some crazy people, came back tired. Now I'm playing catch up.
Can you, before we get into like the meat and potatoes of this episode, do you want to tell us a little bit about your vacation?
Yes, I went with my lovely wife to Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, where I met somebody named Svoboda, and then some guy lived there. His name Fiddler, I think his name is. I didn't know he lived there.
I think that's his name. He lives there. Yeah, absolutely. Have you been to Vegas before?
No, it was our first time.
It was your first time. So what did you think?
For one, I've been trying to move to Vegas for the longest time, or Nevada, because I am tired of the Chicago weather. I love Chicago, but the weather just kills me. I wanted to go somewhere warm. I've been trying to apply to jobs out there when I was in my other career. This kind of sealed the deal for me to want to move out now. And actually, Jen might be on board. I don't know. She was loving the weather too.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have Fids there. I lived there for a year. So you'll never catch me back there again. I went to Vegas once, and I went to this place that was supposedly a Chicago hot dog shop, and I ordered an Italian beef sandwich, and I got roast beef and mashed potatoes on a bun, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I love it. I love to visit it. I'm happy that you had a good time. We, and I mean the collective we, from the 108 guys, the Tainted Glove guys, my wife, we had a great time hanging out with you guys. It was a blast.
Definitely. Well, I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with hot dogs because I hate them. Sorry, Burley Cat.
I know you don't. I know you don't like them.
But we got a big episode for this week. I know we took a little time off for our vacation, but we got something big. So we're gonna talk about Vegas movies today. But before we get into that, we're actually gonna go into what we've been watching.
I think we're going to go Twitter questions
first. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So let's go to the Twitter question. So our Twitter question at Yumper and Svo on Twitter was, what's your favorite baseball movie with the start of baseball? Svo, you want to give us some of the responses?
Absolutely. So we have some great loyal listeners that respond every week. Reverend K-Fids, our boy, he's in Mexico right now. He's a guy that likes The Natural. He likes Robert Redford. That's his movie. We had my cousin Mark Svoboda, League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. Fantastic movie. I love A League of Their Own. And surprisingly, I love A League of Their Own. I hate flipping Rosie O'Donnell. I cannot stand Rosie O'Donnell.
She also ruined Fight Club.
Sorry. Speaking of baseball, Andrew Vaughn just hit a 3-run homer. So it is 9-1. Good guys. Sorry. Who else? We had Soul Glow Sox fan, Bull Durham. We had Jeff Muggs, Bad News Bears, and we had the king himself, King Nam, with Major League. So those are the responses that we got for your favorite baseball movie. What is your favorite baseball movie, Yump?
I'm going to agree with the king here. Major League is probably my favorite baseball movie.
Okay. You're both wrong. It's The Sandlot. Benny the Jet Rodriguez is the best baseball movie, or my favorite baseball movie. It's all subjective. But I love baseball movies. And that might come into play later on in this episode.
Hint, hint.
Interesting.
Yes, interesting. But again, we do put out our Twitter questions at Yumper and Svo on Twitter. Check us out there and let us know your responses to our questions. We put something out every week on the show, and we always read our responses with everybody.
Absolutely. And we will be posting some stuff later on today.
Yeah, so check out the Yumper and Svo Twitter. All right, let's go on to what we've been watching this week. Svo, start with you.
I mean, if you have to start with me, I guess. I got back from vacation and I took my father-in-law to see Morbius. And this poster is wrong that we have up there. That says the release date is January 28th. The movie didn't come out till, March 31st or April 1st? I think it came out April 1st was the official release date, which is fitting because that's April Fool's Day. And this was the worst Marvel movie I've ever seen. I have seen some bad Marvel movies, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, Punisher, Warzone, even the Thomas Jane Punisher with John Travolta. This is the worst Marvel movie I've ever seen. Jared Leto's a creep in real life, and this movie did nothing to fix his reputation. So he's now officially been in the worst DC movie and in the worst Marvel movie. The Suicide Squad and Morbius are the worst of both worlds. Do not waste your time. Do not waste your money. Watch it on demand if it's free, if you really must. But yeah, that's Morbius in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. There's a meme going on in Twitter, and I've seen on Facebook of
The Darth Maul one.
Yeah, only Jared Leto can kill two franchises, DC and Marvel. Yeah, I don't know. Jared Leto, I don't think he's that great of an actor. I think his best film was Requiem for a Dream. That's just my opinion, but yeah.
I think he's a talented actor. I don't know if is he throwing darts at like a board, like picking out scripts lately? Like it's just,
I don't know. Like I think he's creepy as it is. And you guys can research his personal life. He's just a weird guy to me. And he's great at playing weird guys because he's a weird guy. That's about
because he's a weird
So I don't know
guy.
if he's really acting. He's mostly playing himself.
I also heard he doesn't like to shower.
I mean, that's a lot of celebrities.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I guess.
but yeah, he's just weird. But for me, I didn't really get to watch anything new, but I do have a 5-year-old and he watches The Goonies like 20 times a week. So I watched the 1985 film, The Goonies, which is a great film.
Your 5-year-old has fantastic taste.
Yeah.
Because The Goonies is basically perfection.
I mean, I love Mama Fratelli. She's hilarious. Richard Davi and Joey Pants. I mean, who can go wrong with Joey Pants? So that's what I watched this week.
I only have one real beef with The Goonies, and it's when Chunk is in the freezer and he's rambling off ice cream flavors. When the hell have you ever heard of grape ice cream? Like, Chunk's like, they got Rocky Road and grape. Like, who the hell makes grape ice cream?
I've never seen it, but I'm sure like those mom and pop shops have them. I never seen it for sale, unless he meant sherbet, but I don't know.
I don't know.
But to be honest, like, guilty confession, Chunk is like my least favorite character of the Goonies.
Chunk is hardly in the movie. He's not like he's like his lines that are in the movie are freaking hilarious, but like he's hardly in the movie.
Data is my favorite character, and I also love Data from Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Short Round.
Yep.
Short Round.
He's actually making a comeback. He's been more frequent in the public eye recently. So, what's the closeout for you? What other movies did you watch?
You know, so our co-hosts or partners at the Tainted Glove went to go see this Rocky IV, Rocky versus Drago director's cut. And I'm not going to lie to you, I kind of blew it off. Because to me, Rocky IV was always like a fun movie, but I never took it serious where I thought, hey, you know what movie really needs a director's cut? Is Rocky IV. But I was wrong. Like, this movie is a good sports movie. Like, it's not just like, yeah, there's like the 80s montages and Hearts on Fire, but like it's a good movie. Like Sylvester Stallone like is dealing with some shit with the loss of his friend. I really like this Rocky IV director's cut. The campiness of like the goofy talking robot is gone, and I know like a lot of people love that, but this is a really good version of that movie. So like I watched it, and then I was like, you know what? I want to watch Creed 2, and I am jacked for Creed 2. Did my messages just go off?
Yes, they did.
I'm sorry. I have messages closed out, and I don't know why that popped on.
We'll just ruin this podcast right now.
I'm a failure at life.
No, that's okay.
No, I really like boxing movies, and I'm excited to see what Michael B. Jordan does with Creed 3 because he's actually directing Creed 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting where they take this franchise because Sylvester Stallone actually bowed out. He turned over the franchise basically to Michael B. Jordan. So the Rocky character probably might not appear. But again, you never know.
He's not supposed to appear. Yeah, who knows? Maybe there's like a small cameo or something like that. But no, Rocky IV, the director's cut was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I do like the robot part because it's hilarious to me with the fact that they try to insinuate that Paulie is having a relationship with a robot. That's just me because it's funny. But I have not seen the director's cut. I am looking forward to it. Pete has been saying how great it is, and Fizz has been saying how great it is. So I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, and those guys know their movies pretty well too. So,
but Swole, we have a special guest this week. We're gonna try something different. We actually have a guest review. So you want to introduce our guest?
Absolutely, we do have a guest review. If you follow us on Twitter, you are familiar with this person. She is the queen of White Sox Twitter. It's Scarlett, and Scarlett, we asked Scarlett to do a review of the new Ben Affleck movie, Deepwater, that he filmed. I think this was filmed during like COVID when it first came out, or when COVID first appeared. Not like we had a release date for COVID. And he filmed it with his then fiance at the time. So we asked Scarlett to watch this movie Deepwater with us and then come on the pod and talk about it with us. Scarlett, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Absolutely. Scarlett, when did you realize that you were a movie nerd like us?
So I grew up watching so preface. So my dad did everything he could to run away from my mom when she cleaned the house on Saturdays. So like if you were growing up Mexican, you understood that Saturdays were like a tradition that, you would turn on the ranchera music and you would clean. And this would be my mom like at 6, 7 in the morning every Saturday. So my dad was like, I'm not having it. He would take me and my brother to the movies and we would just be gone all day while my mom happily cleaned the house on her own. I think she did it on purpose, but that's fine because I grew up in the theater. So I always said that I was a daughter of Roger Ebert, sorry. And then eventually Richard Roper. But yeah, so that's when I became a complete movie nerd. I remember my first movie was Star Wars and I fell in love with Princess Leia. So I knew that I was like maybe a little lesbian, but that's okay because who isn't? Like when you see her with like all her like glorious slave wear, you're like, yeah, she's hot. So yes, I was like a mini lesbian and a complete movie nerd.
Wait, so I have a question. I also like Princess Leia and her slave wear. Am I a lesbian as well?
You are a lesbian.
I think everybody likes her and her slave wear.
Yes.
Scarlett, what was your movie theater that you went to as a kid? Where was it?
Oh my goodness, Ford City. Okay, so let me tell you about Ford City because we had an incident, a terrorist incident. Believe it or not, Ford City back in the early 80s, there was a movie called with Sigourney Weaver where she was like Tarzan, the Tarzan movie. Somebody bombed the theater with like gas. And I was trying to find it, but we basically had to evacuate the theater because Tarzan Lord of the Apes was bombed at the theater. We were trying to like rush out to get out, but my dad went back in to go play like the action hero and rescue people. And my mom was like, get back here, but in Spanish and really loud. And I just remember just being crazed about trying to get out of the theater. Yeah. So it was very dramatic.
Ford Shitty was your go-to movie theater.
Yeah.
Fun little story.
And we got bombed.
I have told this story on the pod, I believe, but I went to go see Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back at Ford City with my cousin Mark.
Yep.
And a rat ran across our feet in the theater. I am not kidding.
Well, Scarlett, I went to Ford City a lot as a kid. They're in Harlem Corners I used to go to.
Yes.
We talked about Harlem Corners on our last episode. I loved going to Harlem Corners as a kid. My aunt loved it. I saw so many dollar movies at Harlem Corners.
But did you get bombed at
No.
Ford City?
I can't say that I did.
Okay, so which Ford City did you go to? Because I remember going to the Ford City before they built the new theater, and we got bombed at the old Ford City.
Yeah, no, my Ford City experience was at the AMC that's not attached to the mall.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, old school experiences.
Absolutely. And I love that. I love that there's a Ford City reference in our latest podcast. That's my favorite. My dad used to bowl at Ford City Bowling Alley every Saturday night for years, and I would go with him and then hang out in the bar with him while he was with my uncles at that same bowling alley. And nobody thought any more of it or any less of it.
Of course not.
Ford City, yo.
All right, Scarlett, let's get into your review of Deepwater. What did you think of this movie? What's it about? Give us the scoop.
I DM'd you last night because I was like, what the fuck am I watching? What a movie. Violent Ben Affleck being a violent cuckold was not the experience I was expecting. But then he's also raising a mini psychopath known as Trixie, his daughter, while his wife is out fucking anything that moves. I have notes of how many dudes she was doing, and just a couple. So let's see. She diddled Joel Dash, who ran for the hills, Tony Cameron, Charles DeLee, Martin McRae, and I think she was probably diddling Don Wilson, who was like the dude who was helping her kind of figure out if her husband was a murderer. So those were just my notes, and I was just blown away by this incredible, crazy movie.
Wow. That's ridiculously crazy.
So we lost your feed. We lost your.
I probably should unmute myself first.
Yeah.
So the guy that made Fatal Attraction, Indecent Proposal, and 9.5 Weeks made this movie. Do you think that maybe there's something there that he's trying to say, or maybe he's into certain
things? He's a violent cuckold?
Yeah. I think all those movies have that in common.
So one of the things that I found really funny was that Adrian Lyne directed this movie. And the last movie Adrian Lyne directed was Unfaithful. And it took him 20 years to redirect another movie. But he basically redirected Unfaithful, but this time the dude knows that his wife is out like diddling everything that moves. But this time he's violent and his wife is like okay with it.
So
yeah.
Unfaithful messed me up. Like
really?
that movie messed me up. Not because of like anything, but like didn't Richard Gere hit someone in the head with like a pretty violent like decorative ornament or something like that? Snow globe. Yeah, yes, it was a snow globe.
Snow globe.
And like because he had all this anger built up that he found out that his wife was cheating on him, and he used the snow globe, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah, that movie messed me up. The guy that directed this movie has some issues with monogamy.
Yes, definitely has some issues. Unfaithful, is that the one with Oliver Martinez?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I just remember him being like hot and dreamy, and I totally wanted to be Diane Lane in that movie.
Okay, I remember that one.
Diane Lane. Cherry Valance. Oh.
Cherry Valance. Diane Lane. Yeah, she was a crush of mine too when I was growing up. I don't know. Like it's something when I was reading about this movie, I've not seen it. When I was reading about it and I read about Affleck's role, I was like, what the fuck? But I mean, Ben Affleck's always expanding himself, and taking different roles, but I still think he was a bomb in Phantoms.
Yeah. I didn't get why he did this movie. Like him and Anna were together, like when they were filming this movie. And I would tell you that their sex scenes, I was just like, Lord Jesus, help me. What am I watching? I need more of this. The only reason to watch this movie is to watch Ben and Anna play fucking because damn, it's hot. It is hot. Like very hot.
Okay. Yeah. I am a Ben Affleck stan. Ben Affleck is one of my favorite actors. I love his movies. I am an apologist of some of his movies. Like I don't care. I like Pearl Harbor. I'll watch Pearl Harbor over and over again. Like so when he makes a movie, I make an effort to go see it. I saw The Way Back as soon as I could because that was a COVID release. That was a COVID catastrophe. Sorry, my watch just went off. Yeah, I like watching Ben Affleck movies. So when I saw this, I was like, all right, I gotta watch this, and I want to see what other people think of it. So I'm glad that you got a chance to review it and tell us your honest feelings about it.
Okay. So one of the things that I was trying to like wrap my mind around was the fact that one, everybody knew that he was a cuckold, and nobody cared. And then right before another murder happened, the one wife was like, "The next time you get an urge, let me know."
Yeah.
Where do you fucking get neighbors like this?
Wow.
And then they just said, and then like like the dude knew that he had this reputation of murdering like boyfriends of hers, so he still decided to get in a car and go off-roading with him, like through like I don't want to call it the forest, but essentially that's what it was. And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose.
What did you think of the snail pit? Like he brings them all to the snail pit. I didn't understand what the snails were all about. Like, this is my snail pit. I'm going to speak to you creepily in the snail pit. Like, what was that all about?
The dude's like, hey, we should cook some of these snails. He's like, these snails are poison if you eat them. You can't cook them. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are you so obsessed with snails?
Trying to maybe build, like, flesh out, like, a background character. It sounds like the writing is really bad for this movie. That's just me thinking, like, listening to this.
It wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good, but the sex was awesome.
Wow.
And I've never kind of seen this side of Ben Affleck, like, where, like, he sees these these dudes that, like, his wife that he loves and he has a daughter with is cheating on with, and he looks at these dudes across the room and he's like, evil dies tonight.
I hate you.
He was hateful. Batman, Affleck. It was just so cool because you could feel like that anger radiating off of him. You're diddling my life. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, it was. And then he made jokes about it. He's like, yeah, I murdered him. And everyone was just like.
But his buddies defended him. Did you notice that? Very much like Chris Rock, the Academy type thing, right? Like he's like, I was joking. And his buddy's like, yeah, he was joking. Leave him alone.
Well, fun story, Scarlett. We're out and we're downtown Las Vegas when the Oscars are on. And I'm sitting next to our buddy Fids. And Yumper's like a seat over from me. And he's like, he sees Will Smith get slapped and he's like cheering it on. He's like, yes, I hate Will Smith. Slap him again.
It's Chris Rock. And I had to cheer it on. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And Fids is sending me all this video. Fids did like a deep dive investigation into it. Oh my God. And Fids
after like 4 Irish car bombs.
Yeah, he was. So we're hearing Fids give the fifth degree of this whole incident. I'm just like, what's going on? My wife is like, who got hit? And she's probably saying the actor's wrong name. It was just, it was chaotic. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Chris Rock. I've said that before, but I think that incident was just.
I think you're even less of a fan of Will Smith, though.
Yes. Not a fan of Will Smith.
So in this instance, would Ben Affleck go around Will Smithing everybody or Chris Rocking everybody?
Chris
Rocking everybody.
Chris Rocking everybody. I think it sounds better.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Well, I am glad that you got to review it. Is there a movie coming out that you want to see that you would want to come back and review for us?
I need to come back and help you review Maverick because Tom Cruise follows me on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Hey, can you pick up that name you just dropped, Scarlett?
Tom Cruise follows me on Twitter.
Okay. Well, speaking of Top Gun Maverick, we are going to have a Yumper and Svo at the show movie get together where we all go see Top Gun Maverick with like 25, 30 of our loyal listeners, and Scarlett will be at that screening. So we will then get you on the next episode to review Top Gun Maverick.
You'll have to take a picture and post it to him.
I am very excited for Top Gun Maverick.
As am I. Very excited.
That is one that I'm very, very pumped for. Well, Scarlett, we know you got to get to a family dinner today, so we appreciate you taking the time out of your Sunday and coming on with us. And we will have you on again in a few weeks here.
Yeah, so go watch this movie if you want to enjoy some sexy time with your partner, because this will definitely kind of get you in the mood. Murderous sex, I guess. Yeah.
Yumper and Svo after dark.
Oh.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll catch you all soon.
Yes,
we appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Whoa, that was a very hilarious and hot
I need a cigarette, and I don't even smoke.
review. Please follow the lovely Scarlett at Tigresa_de 1810. So that's TRGRESA_DE 1810. Tom,
Follow Scarlett if you meet these requirements. 1, you're not gonna slide into her DMs and be creepy. You're gonna be respectful, and you're gonna have conversation with her because she's a good person and she doesn't need creeps in her DMs talking to her about,
God knows what.
weird stuff. Yeah. So make sure if you're gonna follow Scarlett, follow all those things for us, and we appreciate you.
Yep, shout out to her. She is followed by Tom Cruise, so she is definitely worth the follow.
Absolutely.
But Swole, let's get in to something that happened to us within the past week or so.
Viva Las Vegas! Viva Las Vegas!
As you know, me and Swole went to Las Vegas a couple weeks ago with our wives and people from the 108. Shout out to the 108. And from the Tainted Glove Network, Mr. Aloha, Mr. Hand, and K-Fids. So, Swole, give us a little rundown of our Vegas trip.
We had a blast. We hung out on Fremont Street. We had dinner together. A bunch of us went to, why am I having a brain fart?
Hennessy's?
Where did we go? Where did Wally and I go?
For the Mexican joint.
Hoover Dam.
Dam.
We went to Hoover Dam. So Wally and his girlfriend and Luke and my wife and I, we went to Hoover Dam. You had dinner with Fids, and we all hung out and we drank beers and we had booze and we had good food. We saw the sights, and it was just a good few days in Las Vegas.
Yes, a well-deserved vacation for all of us. I actually got to see Penn and Teller, something I've been wanting to do for like a long time. This is my first trip to Vegas, as I said earlier. Saw Penn and Teller, awesome show. And then my wife saw actually Keith Urban, which surprisingly was very good. I know Wally was pumping him up to me for the past 4 days we were there. Excellent guitar player, and I consider him more of a rock musician than a country musician. Dude plays like awesome solos. So I would recommend if you haven't seen him to see him because it's totally worth it.
That's awesome. I know you had a good time. I know you had a blast. It was fun to hang out with you and your wife. Your wife, by the way, is a sweetheart and a trooper. Poor Jen with Wally and I in the back room at Corduroy dancing without shirts on. Wally and I, not your wife. She's a trooper.
Famous GIF that's out there on the Twitterverse.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. Maybe one day we'll have Wally on to tell us that.
We'll have Wally review a movie, and we'll just talk about that night.
But tons of fun. But since, like we said, when we were going to Vegas, we decided to do our top 10 Vegas movies. Now, Casino will not be in this list, as far as I said before, we kind of want to save Casino for something special. But we will get to it eventually.
These movies are in really no particular order. It's just 10 movies that make us think about Las Vegas. We didn't rank them. We didn't have a draft or anything like that. It's just 10 movies that take place or are in Las Vegas.
Yes. And again, guys, it's our opinions. If you disagree, cool. Let us know what you think at the Yumper and Svo on Twitter. And if you love it, let us know too. So with that, Svo, let's get in to our first movie.
You got more natural talent when you dance than anybody I've ever seen. Look, I've seen a lot of dancers. I studied in New York. Alvin Ailey. You burn when you dance.
1995's Showgirls, directed by Paul Verhoeven, also director of Basic Instinct, RoboCop, Total Recall, and The Great Starship Troopers. Written by Joe Estevas, who actually wrote Flashdance. The movie stars Elizabeth Berkley, Kyle MacLachlan, Zach as Zach, which is kind of funny because Elizabeth Berkley's from, of course, Saved by the Bell as Jesse and Zach. Gina Gershon, Gina Rivera, and Glenn Plummer. The movie was the first to receive an NC-17 rating and be widely distributed, and it's also the only movie so far to have done that. It had a budget of $45 million and made $37.9 million at the box office. It won 7 Razzie Awards, including Worst Director, Worst Actress, and Worst New Star. But it made over $100 million on video rentals due to showgirls parties that were going on in the 90s, which is kind of hilarious. And also the movie was shown at a midnight release a la Rocky Horror Picture Show. Swell, tell me about Showgirls.
So I think Showgirls also could have been featured on our Cult Classics episode because it has created this monster cult following. It's a terrible movie, but there's a lot of titties in it. If we're just being honest, Paul Verhoeven has done some of my favorite movies, RoboCop, Starship Troopers, to name a few. I don't know what went wrong with this. I don't know if it was the fact that Elizabeth Berkley can't really act. Kyle MacLachlan is a terrible overactor. It's just not a good movie. It's bad.
Yeah.
But it screams Vegas.
Definitely, because it's actually has some good things in Vegas. Like, well, some history. Kyle MacLachlan's character is actually a manager at the Sands Casino, and Elizabeth Berkley's character actually works at Cheetah's. So those are two famous places in Vegas. It's about
what's Cheetah's, Yumper?
It's a gentleman's club.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
But even Zach McLaughlin, he never seen the movie, and then at premiere night he saw it and said, "This is horrible." That's a direct quote from him. It is regarded as a cult classic. This movie to me is extremely horribly acted by Elizabeth Berkley. I know this was her big break. I just cannot stop seeing her doing the Jesse, I'm so excited scene. If you've seen Saved by the Bell, you know what I'm talking about. It's like that the whole movie, and her favorite line to say is, "I'm a dancer."
I'm a dancer.
I felt bad for her because this was supposed to be her big break, and then she completely bombed.
It never happened.
Yeah. And this movie is actually today, some critics are even saying it's more could be considered as satire. And I think it kind of got The Room treatment, which, if you don't know, Tommy Wiseau's The Room was directed by him and produced by him and written by him.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yes, probably that line. They did The Disaster Artist, a movie that won actually James Franco a Golden Globe. But I digress. The movie was horribly treated when it first came out, and then it established a cult following. And now Tommy Wiseau says it's a black comedy, which I don't think it is.
I actually really like The Disaster Artist.
Yes, very good movie. But this movie is considered a satire on Vegas, and I think they're just trying to make it better than what it really is because it's very horrible.
It's bad. But it's very Vegas.
Yeah, it's very Vegas. But from that, let's move on to our next movie.
Oh, nothing makes me sadder than the agent lost his bladder in the airplane.
1997's Con Air, directed by Simon West, starring the great Nicolas Cage, John Malkovich, John Cusack, Steve Buscemi, Danny Trejo, and Ving Rhames. Movie had a $75 million budget and made a whopping $224 million at the box office. So let us know about Con Air.
Con Air is Nicolas Cage peak, like The Rock, Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds, like just peak Nicolas Cage, 90s action. John Malkovich as Cyrus. Sorry. It's awesome. It's got quotable lines. Put the bunny down. They land the plane on Las Vegas Boulevard. Steve Buscemi is a serial killer.
And probably like one of the best parts of the movie.
And he's awesome. He's awesome. John Cusack is like the FBI agent that knows that Nicolas Cage is trying to like help out. It's so goofy. It's so over the top. It's perfection. I love it. You cannot say a bad word to me about Con Air.
Yeah, Con Air to me is hilarious. I remember watching it like over and over when Encore used to have it on all the time, and now whenever it's on TV, I find myself watching it. Nicolas Cage's performance to me is like he's just winging it as a Southerner. He does now. Nicolas Cage is an excellent actor. He's won an Academy Award, and even though he does do anything for money now, he is very, very good in his craft. Check out Pig, great movie. But yeah, this movie is just over the top. John Malkovich is so great at playing those crazy characters. and out of the box characters as Cyrus in here. Ving Rhames is great, and then you have actually Colm Meaney, which is the marshal, played by Duncan Malloy, who's hilarious and has a car.
He's hilarious. He's got the car
ass kicker,
and it just gets
yeah.
destroyed.
So it's not a Oscar-winning movie, but it's a bunch of action and fun.
And we left it off the list, but Nicolas Cage was also in Leaving Las Vegas.
Yes, he was in Leaving Las Vegas.
Like, Nicolas Cage likes Vegas movies, and we've learned from our buddy Fids, he likes to hang out in Vegas.
Yes, we actually went to Lowry's where he hangs out on the couch over there and gets overserved and driven home by the manager. So I saw the Nicolas Cage couch.
We've all been there.
Yep.
Great movie, though. I love this movie. I love anything that came out. Like I said, The Rock, Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds. I feel like there was one more in there.
With Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider?
Yeah. I feel like no, not Ghost Rider. I feel like I'm missing one. I don't know. Maybe like it'll come to me.
Snake Eyes?
Well, Snake Eyes was a Brian De Palma flick, and it wasn't like I don't know. I don't want to lump it in these movies.
Oh, Face Off. He's Face Off.
Face Off was definitely one of them. And then he did 8mm.
That was actually a pretty creepy and good movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. James Gandolfini as like the porn kind of connoisseur.
Yeah, it was a creepy movie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Nicolas Cage, he's a gift to acting. Dude's hilarious.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
But let's move on to our next one.
We're gonna give Daddy the Rain Man suite. You dig that? We're going to Vegas, Mike.
Vegas! You think we get there by midnight?
Honey, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight.
Yeah! Vegas!
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
1996's Swingers, directed by Doug Liman, starring Jon Favreau, Vince Vaughn, Ron Livingston, and Heather Graham. This movie had a budget of $200,000 and it made 4.6 at the box office. But it made a lot of money via rental, as a lot of cult films do. This movie is considered to have launched the careers of one Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. So tell me why you love Swingers.
Swingers is Entourage before Entourage. It's Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau trying to make it as actors in Hollywood. And, they're not really good at it. But everyone can relate to, struggling to pay the rent, hanging out with your buddies and playing NHL 94 on Sega Genesis.
Yes.
I'm going to make his fucking head bleed.
And if you've seen this, the graphics are compared to today are horrible. But at the time, I personally thought they were the shit. They were awesome. But
absolutely. It's just a buddy movie. It's funny. It's goofy. You get skinny, young, virile Vince Vaughn, not, puffy alcoholic Vince Vaughn that you get in movies now. It's a great movie. And actually, this and another movie were both made by Doug Liman. That's on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Take place in Vegas.
Yeah.
So Doug Liman's got some Vegas ties in his directing.
Yeah, just to me, an all-around great movie. It's actually got a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's 74%, which is very good. Jon Favreau is great in it. I was reading just some stuff from about the movie that they had a budget was so low. They actually had Vince Vaughn's father as the lucky gambler at the $100 million, 100 minimum table. They had Jon Favreau's grandma is actually at the $5 table. When they do the you always double down, baby. You always double down on 11, baby. That she was the old lady that was saying, "Oh my God, I won." So I thought that was kind of cool. A lot of influences come from this movie. Like you said, Entourage is one of them. And also to me, it's like a precursor to kind of like Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, absolutely. And who would have thought? It's funny that you say Wedding Crashers. Who would have thought that the pinnacles of careers would have been Vince Vaughn is great and he had a lot of great movies, but we haven't seen a lot from him in a while. I think maybe he had a little bit of a resurgence with that horror movie that he did last year, Freaky,
mm-hmm.
which was actually pretty good. But Jon Favreau is this world-renowned director that Disney trusts $100 million franchises with, because he did The Lion King, he did The Jungle Book too for them. And now he's in charge of a massive part of the Star Wars universe. And who would have thought that the two dudes from Swingers Like Jon Favreau would have been like the big shot, like out of those two.
Yeah, Jon Favreau is to me very underrated in terms of a director. He's done some very good movies, and then if you want to go like superhero movies in general, he's done the first three Iron Man actually. He directed the first three Iron Man. The third one not being as great, but he's had like a role, and like you said, in very big things such as The Mandalorian. That's written by him and produced by him.
You know, he also made Chef after.
Oh, that's another great movie. Yes.
Oh God. And Chef is like one of my movies that I put on when I'm not feeling well or I'm sick or down or whatever, because it makes me feel better. But it was kind of like a comparison of his career. Like he made Iron Man 2 and people were like, "What are you doing? This movie sucked." And he's like, "I just want to make the movies for me that I want to make." And that's why he made Chef, and it was awesome.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Chef, I highly recommend it. I also recommend looking at the Chef cooking show, which is also on Netflix, which is him and the person that trained him in the Chef movie that actually was his consultant. Chef.
And a lot of great guest stars, like Robert Rodriguez is in some episodes.
Yeah, Tom Holland makes an appearance. I
think
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
What's her name? Pepper Potts.
Gwen Paltrow.
Gwen Paltrow makes a role.
I was going to say Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, so I was thinking too.
Thinking of No Doubt.
Yeah, it's an excellent series. The movie is really good. It's that's probably one of my like favorite movies to watch. Like Swole. It has John Leguizamo in there. I'm a big fan of John Leguizamo.
I like John Leguizamo too. He did one stand up that I thought was the funniest stand up I've ever seen. I'm not going to say the name of it because I can't get away with saying that, but like his stand up that he did was one of the best stand ups I've ever seen. Or it might not even been a stand up. It might have just been a one man play.
Yeah, the first time I was exposed to him was Freak, which is it won a bunch of Tony Awards. It was actually a one man show that was directed by Spike Lee.
And that's not the one I'm thinking of. So
he's done a couple of them. I can't remember off the top of my head. Ghetto Clown was another one. That one.
It's a derogatory term for Hispanics that I'm not going to repeat.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we won't repeat it.
But that was like the first exposure that I really got to John Leguizamo, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought he told stories from a different point of view than I've ever seen before, and it was really cool. Also, he's in
Carlito's Way.
He's in Carlito's Way. He's Benny Blanco from the Bronx. But I think it's called Home for the Holidays, and it takes place in Humble Park.
That is another Yumper go-to during Christmas.
Yumper, even though we got into an argument before the podcast because I was rushing you, like we're friends and we like the same things.
Yes, you're getting a little behind, pull behind the curtain of Swole being like, "Dude, where are you? Where are you guys?
Where are you? Come on, man." Sorry, I was worried about Scarlett and her dinner.
I feel you, man. I feel you. But yeah, Home for the Holidays is another great movie. Alfred Molina's in there, Freddie Rodriguez, and it is shot in Humble Park. Luis Guzman is hilarious in that movie too. But let's move on to our next one before we get too much off track.
Yo, Jeff, what you want from me, man? Want me to get on the table and dance? Like me to shine your shoes? Want me to smile at you? You definitely won't let me deal the cards. You might as well call it White Jack.
Ocean's 11, the 2001 remake of the 1960s film that starred Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and Angie Dickinson. This movie actually is directed by Steven Soderbergh, starring George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Don Cheadle, Julia Roberts, Casey Affleck, Carl Reiner, Andy Garcia, and Bernie Mac. Talk about an all-star cast. This movie made a whopping $450 million on an $85 million budget, and it spawned 2 sequels and a remake called Ocean's 8. Swole, tell us about Ocean's 11.
I love Ocean's 11. I love that Brad Pitt is always eating in the movie. Like anytime you see Brad Pitt, he has food. I think George Clooney like led this movie and it was fantastic. Matt Damon as like the pickpocket was awesome. This movie just makes me happy. I like watching it. It's a heist movie, and you know it's based on the original one with the Rat Pack. Like, and that is Las Vegas. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford,
Joey Bishop.
It's amazing. Like they're both amazing, fantastic movies, and I couldn't have the new Ocean's 11 here without talking about the original one. One, because I think Mr. Hand would kill me. Like, he would fight me. And two, like, it wouldn't have happened if it didn't exist. Ocean's 11, stupid fun. I love it. And I love the 2 sequels. Even though they didn't take place in Vegas, like, I love the 2 sequels.
Yeah, Ocean's 11, to me, my first experience was I saw it in theater when it came out. And then, like, one of the big experiences to me is when I went to U of I as a freshman, they had a big thing for the freshmen coming in, and they said they were going to have a movie and the quad night. So this was open to everybody. So we had a freshman night where all the freshmen went to the events and whatnot, or a back to school event. And then they had a movie in the quad night where everybody and their mother went out into the quad. Now, if you've been at U of I, they have a gigantic like area they call the quad, where most of the buildings are. The center are around this quad. We went there. We had a gigantic screen. They gave out free popcorn, and we sat. We watched Ocean's 11. So that was like awesome for my first experiences in college. I always loved the Ocean's 11. I'm a big fan of George Clooney, Matt Damon, and Brad Pitt, of course, and also Andy Garcia. I'm a big Andy Garcia fan.
Yeah, and also Scott Conn is in this movie.
Scott Conn and Casey Affleck.
And Casey Affleck are like 2 like buffoon Mormon brothers.
Yeah.
And I think they're hilarious.
Extremely. Like you said, it spawned 2 sequels and a remake with Sandra Bullock, Ocean's 8. And
the remake was fun.
Yeah, the remake was actually pretty good, in my opinion.
It wasn't like Ghostbusters, Answer the Call.
No. Unfortunately, yeah, movie it was okay. It wasn't that great. But
It was all right.
The thing is, though, they have been asking for another Ocean's 11, and I think they could take the story other places, but George Clooney has come on record saying there'll never be another one because of the passing of Bernie Mac in 2008, and he was a big role in the movie as Frank, the dealer, the man from the inside.
I absolutely love loyalty like that. Like, I'm not going to mess with this because we can't have the people that made this movie what it was back.
Yeah, it's to me, it's like when I think of Vegas, like Ocean's 11 always pops up there right at the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ocean's 11, and it's another movie that's on the list that make me think of it.
Speaking of the movies that you like,
Stop! Stop it! What? It's a Miata! Well, we'll put her in the passenger seat. Well, then where will I? You'll be in the passenger seat holding her up.
Go, 1999, directed by Doug Liman, starring Katie Holmes, Jay Moore, Timothy Olyphant, William Fitcher, and Scott Wolf. This movie made $28.5 million at the box office on a $20 million budget. This movie is considered a cult classic. Now, Swole, I know you're a big fan of this movie. Let us know why.
Yeah, so this movie came out summer of 99, like you said, which was the summer before my senior year of high school. And I was working at the movie theater at the time, and my friends and I went to go see it. Katie Holmes, we were big, and you know this, and anybody that follows me on Twitter knows this. Like, I just started a rewatch of Dawson's Creek, and I haven't watched it since I was in high school. Katie Holmes is in this movie. The cast is funny. The stories all intertwine, so they tell the stories from like different points of view, and they all kind of like wind up at the same place at the end. It's really funny. It's really loud and obnoxious. The soundtrack is really good, and the cast is really good. So besides the people that are on the poster, like Katie Holmes, Sarah Polley, and like Jay Moore, but you get Timothy Olyphant and you get William Fichtner, who are 2 severely underrated actors. Timothy Olyphant is in Justified, and he also was in Scream 2.
Also in Live Free or Die Hard.
Live Free or Die Hard, yes. I think that dude's a fantastic actor and super creepy. You know, they go to Vegas and they go to a strip club and they get into an altercation and they shoot the bouncer and the bouncers follow them back to LA. It's super fun. It's out of this. It's crazy.
Yeah. I thought I had never seen this movie before until you told me about it. I watched it, happened to watch it. Just going in the background, I was doing some stuff, and actually, like, I stopped doing what I was doing and I was watching it because it's actually really interesting. Like you said, Timothy Olyphant is he's such an underrated actor.
Yeah.
The movie to me it also has a bunch of comedy scenes. Breckin Meyer in the movie from the 90s. I mean,
absolutely.
You might know him from like Road Trip or
Clueless.
But in this movie, he tells like hilarious stuff in their car, when they're driving to.
What kind of story was he telling in that
It was
car?
very inappropriate to say right now, but it was very hilarious. But yeah, this stuff like
It was
that,
an oral sex joke.
Yeah.
For our listeners.
Yeah, but it was like stuff like that. Jay Moore, a comedian, it's hilarious in the movie with Scott Wolf. And Scott Wolf, every time I see Scott Wolf, I either think of Party of Five or I think of Double Dragon. And
Jay Moore and Scott Wolf play a gay couple
Yes.
in this movie that get caught up buying drugs and have to go undercover, and then it leads to a whole bunch of shenanigans. It's a really fun movie. I think it's underrated.
Definitely. So if you haven't seen it or heard about it, like now you know about it. So I would check out Go. It's definitely been considered a very underrated movie. A lot of critics are give it high praise. So I definitely recommend checking it out. But with that, let's move on to our next one.
All right, just show some character. Walk through some fucking fear.
Don't talk to me about character, pal.
Watch the tone, fella. Okay?
Fuck you, boy.
Fuck you too, Snake Eyes, cocksucker.
Fuck you.
1998's Very Bad Things, directed and written by Peter Berg, who also wrote Friday Night Lights, The Rundown, and Hancock, starring Cameron Diaz, Jon Favreau, Daniel Stern, Jeremy Piven, Leland Orser, and Christian Slater. This movie grossed $21 million on a $30 million budget. Swell, tell us about Very Bad Things.
I mean, it's just about a bachelor party that's gone wrong. And something happens at this bachelor party, but the cast is great. You know what I remember the most about this movie was, when was the last time you saw it, Yumper?
Oh, it's been a while.
There's a song at the beginning of the movie where the chorus is just fried neck bones and some home fries. And it's the only thing that I remember, like from the first time I watched it with my best friend Mike. And we like watching it as a kid, I didn't appreciate it. I was like, this movie sucks. But I went back and watched it as an adult. This movie's messed up and it's really good.
Yeah, it's really messed up.
Yeah.
But I think the cast is perfect in this movie. Now, this movie's considered a black comedy. It didn't get a lot of praise from critics, and that's kind of understandable because it's very gory. But like Christian Slater has starred in two black comedies that we reviewed so far. One was Heathers, and the other was this one. I think this movie's better than Heathers because it has a better cast around it. Although I love Christian Slater and Winona Ryder, this movie has Daniel Stern. Jeremy Piven is hilarious. Daniel Stern and him play brothers. You got Jon Favreau in it. It's just, to me, it's a little bit, they mesh a little bit better. And then you have, of course, Cameron Diaz is in the movie as well. But it's the whole point of them going to a bachelor party and accidentally killing the stripper / prostitute and then having to decide what they're going to do is
what they're going to do.
And it's basically, you just go down the rabbit hole and one bad thing happens after another after that. So it's one of those movies. So if you're into something like that, where you want to see like just a disaster, I call it disaster movies where one thing happens after another and another, then this is like a perfect movie for you to see. I liked it.
I did too. I think this is a fun movie. If you have a warped, fucked up sense of humor.
Yes, definitely. But with that, let's move on to our next one.
Look, I'm not through with you yet, Bingo. All right? You're Nick Papagiorgio. You're from Yuma, Arizona. You're into software.
1997's Vegas Vacation, directed by Steven Kessler, starring Chevy Chase, Bevy D'Angelo, Ethan Embry, Marcel Nichols, Randy Quaid, and Wayne Newton. This movie had a budget of $25 million and it made $36.4 at the box office. So tell us about Vegas Vacation.
To me, this is the worst of the vacation movies. I know people like this movie, and I know why they like this movie, but it is not as good as Vacation, European Vacation, or Christmas Vacation. Like, this is the worst of them. But Chevy Chase is funny. Like, it's still funny. Ethan Embry plays like a grown-up Rusty. It's got all the cliche Vegas, Wayne Newton falling in love with Beverly D'Angelo. It's goofy. It's fun. It's Vacation. I don't like the way this movie looks, though. I don't like the way it was shot. It feels like a made-for-TV movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get that feeling a lot with the movie, too. It's like kind of like not produced very greatly. It's kind of like a cheapish feeling to the way it looks.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Christmas Vacation, which Like, I know it's not like an Oscar-winning movie, but like it's a movie you can put on every Christmas and be like, "Hey, this is a good family comedy."
Yeah, and with that, as you said, it's not as great as the other Vegas vacation movies. John Hughes hated this movie. He was not involved with it. He looked after Christmas and the Vacation original National Lampoon's Vacation movie. He thought they were done. They actually did this movie without telling him, and it kind of made him really upset. And when everybody complained about it, he's like, "I didn't have anything to do with it." He felt like the vacation movies actually became more of a vehicle for Chevy Chase, the Hollywood styles of vehicle, just to make him a star, and not really for what they were pretty much based on the originally. So I can understand that. I don't hate the movie. There are some funny parts in it, especially when they go play with Randy Quaid's money. Cousin Eddie, when they go to his casino and they play war or guess the number, or and he loses all his money. That part was pretty funny to me. I was a big fan of Marisol Nichols, Chicagoan. I loved her in Resurrection Boulevard. So it's not a great movie. It's definitely the least of the National Lampoon movies for vacation.
It is what it is. Like, you can't expect it. It's not going to be like The Godfather or Citizen Kane, but like it just could have been better, and they could have showcased some things better. And I think John Hughes is right. Like, it feels like a Chevy Chase vehicle. And Chevy Chase's humor, while at certain things is perfect, sometimes it's just a little too much for me.
Yeah. To be honest with you, this movie kind of reminds me a little bit, just the way Chevy Chase acts in it, a little bit of the movie he did that Danny Aykroyd directed. What was it called? With Demi Moore. What's the name of it as well?
Demi Moore.
It's like one of the worst movies.
Oh, Nothing But Trouble.
But Trouble. It kind of reminds me of something like that.
The first movie appearance of Tupac Shakur in Nothing But Trouble.
Oh yes.
With Digital Underground.
Yep. And they sing same song in that movie. That's like the best part of the movie.
Yep. I love Nothing But Trouble. I don't care what anybody says. That movie is awful, but I love it. For the same reasons that you watch Con Air, it was always on Encore. Nothing But Trouble was always on the free HBO that we got in the upstairs TV at my my parents' townhouse in Streamwood. Like, my dad never wanted to pay for HBO, and I get it, right? Like, as a homeowner now, I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying for extra bullshit, right? But for some reason, HBO came in for free on the upstairs TV, and Nothing But Trouble was always on.
That's another. I was exposed that way too through HBO. Nothing But Trouble. But yeah, the way he acts in that movie, how it's just. I don't think it's like one of his best performances, and that's kind of like the same kind of feeling I get in here. So I think he was kind of just going through the motions for this movie. But let's move on to our next one.
Let me make one thing clear to you. I am not your father. You are not my friend. This is a business. You were only as good to me as the money you make, and right now it's not worth a hell of a lot. You're going to give me back everything you lost.
No, I can't do that. That money was for Harvard. I have made you so much more than what I just lost.
It doesn't matter, Ben. You had very clear instructions, and you didn't follow them. You didn't do your job. You weren't counting. You were gambling.
2008's 21, directed by Robert Luketic, starring Kevin Spacey, Lawrence Fishburne, Kate Bosworth, and Jim Sturgis. This movie made $159.8 million at the box office on a $35 million budget, and this film was actually inspired by the MIT Blackjack team. Tell us about 21, Swell.
So I really liked 21, and I thought that Jim Sturgis was going to be a massive star after he did this, and he did Across the Universe, which was the movie that used the Beatles songs. And it just never really panned out for him. This movie would hold up a hell of a lot better if Kevin Spacey wasn't in it. I have a hard time like watching stuff with him. I know he was a fantastic actor when he was acting, but like I have a hard time watching stuff with him in it. But it's just one of those, like, for some reason I get sucked into movies about poker and blackjack and cards. Like Rounders is another one that I'm like, I get like I have to watch this, and this movie filled all those same things. Pretty flashy, good movie. I enjoyed it. How about you?
I enjoyed it as well. I can totally understand what you're saying about Kevin Spacey. He's in one of my favorite movies, Seven, and he plays the serial killer in there. Spoiler alert. And every time I see him, I still feel weird seeing him on the screen. But yeah, this movie to me, it was very interesting for one, with the MIT blackjack team. When the big poker boom happened when Moneymaker won the 2003 World Championship Poker, World Series of Poker, a lot of those guys who played in that tournament were actually members of the MI team eventually further down the line. So this movie is just interesting how you count cards, try to beat the house, and also having Lawrence Fishburne as the casino security is just perfect role for him. But yeah, it's a fun movie to me. It's really cool, like to see like everybody tries to beat the house, and these people actually did it. So that was actually a very interesting story. Now I know there was controversy with this movie too because Ben is actually based off another person named his last name is Ma. I forget his first name, but he was a consultant on the movie, and he's actually an Asian American. And people were saying this movie was whitewashed a lot of the people within the MIT team. For me, I just take it as it is for the movie. He didn't have an issue with it as a person was played by, obviously Caucasian. I think the movie's decent enough and just take it as face value for the time in '08. And we kind of moved on from the typecasting of cultural typecasting anyway, into getting more people involved in the more cultural roles. I think we learned from it, but to me, I don't think it was as bad as people think it was in terms of the controversy. But like I said, the person that it's based off didn't have a problem with it. So I don't know. But with that, let's move on to our next one.
I just try to take my hat and I turn it around, and it's like a switch that goes on. And when the switch goes on, I feel like another person. I feel like a truck, like a machine.
You didn't think we were going to get away from this one, did you? 1987's Over the Top, directed by Mina Golan, starring Sylvester Stallone, Robert Lagosha, Susan Blakeney, Dave Menadol, and Rick Zumwalt as the Bull. This movie had a box office of $16 million on a $25 million budget, but it made most of its money through video rentals. And for those who might saying, oh, well, it's not really a Vegas movie. The damn arm wrestling contest takes place in Vegas, and that's where they're going. So it's a Vegas movie.
It's a Vegas movie.
So tell me why you love Over the Top.
This movie is awesome. This movie has got, first of all, did you ever see the Family Guy skit about Robert Loggia? How Robert Loggia introduces himself?
No.
He's like, hey, I'm Robert Loggia. They're like, how do you spell that? And he goes, R as in Robert Loggia. O as in, oh my God, are you Robert Loggia? B as in, be still my beating heart. It's Robert Loggia. So I think of that Family Guy skit every time I see it. It's just pretty funny. But this is every Sylvester Stallone 80s movie, right? Like it's Rocky, it's everything except this one. The vehicle is arm wrestling and truck driving. He's a father that's not around, and he wants to be more involved with his son, and the mother is passing away. So he picks his son up from military school. He travels across country with him, and they bond. And eventually, it's awesome. It's campy. It's cheesy. The arm wrestling scenes are hilarious. I love every single second of this movie.
Yeah, it's very, very cheesy. Also,
it's so cheesy.
Also, at the end, like the whole point of the tournament is for them to win a rig, right? It's like to win the rig that there's for the tournament, which is so random because like who the hell is going to want to win a rig? Like, you know what I mean? But it does have like some professional arm wrestlers. Actually, like I said, Robert Zunwick as Bull is a professional arm wrestler and was a champion. And then for you wrestling fans, Scott Norton from WCW or NWO was actually in the movie, and he was actually an arm wrestling champion as well. He plays an extra as one of the competitors. But though actually the arm wrestling scenes are pretty hilarious and pretty intense and funny. I like the movie because I'm a big Sly fan, and Robert Loggia is probably one of my favorite character actors. I loved him in Gladiator as Pappy Jack. He's in Scarface, everybody knows that. But he's in The Sopranos. I just like him as an actor. Big, he's in Big as the boss. To me, he's just one of those guys that like you see him in movies and then you're like, wait, I know him from somewhere. He's in so many like little small roles or like side characters, and he played some great.
No, I love it. I like it's got a very 80s cast. It's got a very 80s soundtrack. It looks like it was filmed in 1984. When did it come out?
This movie came out in 1987.
Like it's perfect. I love it. It's so corny. It's another one of those movies that like if it's on, I stop and I just watch it.
Yeah, and the turning my hat backwards like a switch is always stuck in my head. That's why I used it for
I was hoping that was the audio that you were going to use. Once again, I don't know. I do the PowerPoint and Yumper does the audio, and I don't know what audio he's going to use unless I absolutely request it. And I was hoping that this is the audio that you're going to use because it's awesome.
Yeah, Over the Top is extremely over the top and has some great little one lines in there. But let's move on to our last one.
Why are you peppering the steak? You don't know if tigers like pepper. Tigers love pepper. They hate cinnamon.
2009's Hangover, directed by Todd Phillips, starring Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, Zach Galifianakis, Justin Bartha, Ken Jeong, and Heather Graham. This movie had a $35 million budget and made $469 million at the box office. It spawned 2 sequels. Also, this movie has the music by Christoph Beck, who's another great composer. So, tell me why you love The Hangover.
First of all, I saw this movie in the theater 10 times. This movie made me laugh so hard because of the combination of Zach Galifianakis, Bradley Cooper, and Ed Helms. Justin Bartha is hardly in the movie, but he's fantastic as Doug. Who also, he was in this last week's episode of Atlanta, the Donald Glover show on FX, which I wrote an article about for the Tainted Glove Network. But like their relationship is hilarious. The way Zach Galifianakis delivers his lines and the way he just acts like a moron is perfect. Like the tigers love pepper, they hate cinnamon. I requested that audio. Like that line makes me crack up no matter where I'm at or how I'm feeling. And then like the other small thing, the other small lines, like not a purse, a satchel. Indiana Jones wears one. Yeah, so does Joy Behar.
Like all right, guys,
and then
you ready
to when Ken Jeong jumps out of the trunk and he's naked and he's fighting everybody, Zach Galifianakis is like, I hate Godzilla too. I hate him. He destroys cities. I hate him.
Yeah, this is like Zach Galifianakis is like his come out movie, like his big break. And
this was his introduction to the world. He had done stuff before and he's a super funny guy, but this was his introduction to the world and he killed it. Now I can't speak like the second movie, it was good. It wasn't as good as the first one. And the third Hangover was a giant piece of trash.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they rehashed, the first one to the second one because they blame Zach Galifianakis' character again for what happens.
Yeah.
But the original is the best. Also, Ed Helms, like he actually had his tooth removed. That was actually a fake tooth he had, and for the movie, he actually had it removed to bring realism to the role. And everybody remembers the Doug song on the piano. Mike Tyson coming and knocking the shit out of Zach Galifianakis to shout out to Father Zoe, Phil Collins, in the air tonight. That, it just has so many good like scenes in it. The Rain Man scene when they're going down to gamble.
And it's perfect. And Zach Galifianakis is in like the same gray suit that Dustin Hoffman's wearing. Like,
yeah.
I actually watched it last night after I got home from it was a long week at work, an emotional week at work for me this week. And I just wanted something that was going to like make me laugh. And this movie still does it every single time. Now, I don't watch it a lot. I like to go back and revisit it so I appreciate it. And Ed Helms on the piano singing the song that you just mentioned, like it still cracked me up. And if he got murdered by crystal meth tweakers, well, then we're shit out of luck.
Yeah. And actually, it's kind of funny because he actually performed that song with Kim Jong at the MTV Movie Awards. And they got thrown off stage by Tom Cruise's character, Les Grossman. where he danced with J-Lo in that skit. So it's kind
From
of
Tropic Thunder.
yeah. So it's actually the movie to me is just hilarious. Like it has like a lot of and then the B-roll at the end of the movie where they show what really happened when they those are it's just hilarious.
We might have our own B-roll from our Vegas trip.
Yes, God help us all. But yeah,
It's
The Hangover to me, like you can't not think of Vegas and not think of The Hangover.
absolutely. The last time that I saw this movie in the movie theater, this is not a lie. I snuck in a bucket of KFC chicken and I ordered a drink and I ate fried chicken and I watched this movie while I watched it with my cousin Mike, and it was awesome. It was fantastic. I still love this movie to this day. It's perfect.
Yeah, totally hilarious. If you haven't seen it, I don't know where you've been, but definitely
What the
check
hell's
it out.
wrong
Yeah,
with you?
definitely check it out. The baby Carlos, I named him Carlos. That
He's checking his little weenus.
yeah, look at him. Doug, I don't think he likes that. No, what's his name? Name's not Doug. What's that guy from that kid's his name? It's fine. Oh, I can't think of his name. But like, I don't think he likes that. He's like, hey, he's jacking his little weenus. But yeah, just his character in there is hilarious.
Not at the table, Carlos.
Yeah. The part where he talks about Rayman. Well, he's like, car counting is hard, dude. He's like, Rayman did it, and he was
Rayman practically bankrupted the casino, and he was a retard.
You're like, what? Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, it's
Alan. He plays Alan.
Yeah, Alan. Thank you. Like, he's just hilarious in the movie. Definitely a big coming out party for him.
Like super subtle. He's in all of Todd Phillips's movies, or he was. He wasn't in The Joker because the same guy that made The Hangover made The Joker.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dan Band. I don't know if you know who the Dan Band are, but the Dan Band is the wedding band.
Yes.
In this movie, and they were in. He's been in all of Todd Phillips's movie. They sing like a instrumental rock version of 50 Cent's "The Candy Shop."
Yeah.
In The Hangover, and he's like the couple's having their first dance, and he's like, "I'll take you to the candy shop."
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like,
actually,
it's hilarious.
They're in Old School. That's where they got we first got their exposure to. Wolf Ferrell's wedding.
That was Todd Phillips's like first movie.
Yeah, Old School, and they're also are they in Star? No, they're in Starsky and Hutch. They're in a couple other movies though.
They might have been. Well, Starsky and Hutch was a Todd Phillips movie.
Yeah, I can't remember if they're in there, but yeah, they're pretty hilarious. Yeah, just the movie altogether is hilarious.
Yeah, so they sing "Total Eclipse of the Heart" in Old School, and "Lady" at the wedding. They're in The Terminal, Starsky and Hutch. They're in The Hangover, and they also perform live.
Yeah, they're definitely a fun band to listen to.
They're hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. Listen to their music if you get a chance to, because they're hilarious.
Definitely. Also, if you're a big fan of Zach Galifianakis, he has a excellent show at funnyordie.com, or you can watch it on YouTube called Between Two Ferns.
Between Two Ferns is
It
funny.
is hilarious. The Keanu Reeves one is pretty funny just because Keanu Reeves plays like he's such a nice guy, but like he does join in the humor.
The Jennifer Lawrence one,
that one was funny too. Like, just you have to watch because it's basically Zach Galifianakis as a TV host, like
as a talk show host. Yeah,
basically talking down to his guests and talking shit, and they just give it back, and it's a lot of fun. Like, I would definitely recommend watching that. But that concludes our Vegas movies. Let us know what you guys think at Yumper and Svo on Twitter. Also, check us out at thetaintedglove.com. We got some reviews out there from the Reverend K-Fids, from Swole, and from myself, and we'll be producing more content with weeks to come. Check it out. We have a bunch of posts. All our pods are on there from both our pod, the Yumper and Swole Show, and the Mothercast, or the mothership. Yeah, the mothership of the Tainted Glove Network, the Tainted Glove with Pete and K-Fids, or Mr. Han and K-Fids, if you know him. So yeah, check that out. And with that, we're going to actually talk about what's going to come next, Swole. So, Swole, you kind of want to give us a little insight?
Yeah, so usually the coming soon portion is done by Yump, but we decided that we got our starts on what's referred to as White Sox Twitter, right? Even though Yumper's a Cub fan, like the White Sox Twitter community is actually like a real thing. So our next episode is going to be in 2 weeks. We're not recording next week because it's Easter. We were going to do back-to-back Sundays, but we realized it was Easter. So we're going to be recording in 2 weeks, and we're going to have a tournament, and the tournament is going to be what movie is the definitive movie for White Sox Twitter, right? Is that what we decided?
Yep. What sports related movie?
What sports related movie would be the definitive movie for White Sox Twitter? And we're going to put some polls up in the next couple days here. We're going to get the ideas for movies from your votes or from your suggestions, and then we'll create our polls based on that. So,
and we'll do like a mini bracket, like a mini little tourney, not to copy the 108, but just something for movies. So it won't be as huge from the 108 tournament, but it'll be
we might just have like 16.
Yeah, just maybe a 6. We'll take the top and see how many responses we get and go from there, and then we'll have people you could vote on them. So this is going to take a couple of weeks for us to get done, obviously. So, but it's more interaction with you guys, and that's what we love doing with the show.
And that's exactly what we love doing with the show. So we're gonna have that on there, and that's what's coming next. We're also gonna have some more guest reviews coming in the future. We want to have Scarlett back on. She was a great review to have on to do Deep Water, and we want to get other people involved. I have a list of people that I would like to ask to do a guest review. So that stuff's coming up soon too.
Yes, definitely. So keep an eye out for when we drop the pod, and also at our Twitter account. And then also at thetainedglove.com. So we'll always have something new coming out there, and any big announcements we have will come through there. So there are big things coming. We just can't announce them yet, but there are big things coming for this show. And as always, before we get to Swole's final thought of this pod, I just want to say thank you guys for listening. I know we took our couple weeks off more than usual, but thank you for being patient with us. I really enjoy doing this just for the interaction we have with you guys on Twitter and when I meet you in person. This is a passion project for both me and Swole. So thank you so much for helping guide us along. And we're at episode 6. So we are over that threshold, Beef, of 4 episodes. And
love you, Beef.
Yes. And we are planning to continue. We have a whole thing of notes for episodes that we have planned.
We're not going anywhere.
So thank you again, guys. And with that, Swole, give us your final thought.
So first of all, I got to explain this picture. Usually, I post a funny picture or a funny selfie. This picture is actually brought to you by my wife. I had my hair braided and I had to wrap it the other day so it didn't get all fuzzy. And she was cracking up, laughing at me. She's like, "You look like an Amish person with your bonnet." And she took this picture and sent it to me, and then sent it to all of our friends. So that's me with my bonnet, with my hair braided. Also, those tight braids are not for me anymore. My head was so painful. But no, my final thought is baseball season's back, and Yumper and I became friends because of baseball and because of White Sox Twitter and Fids and Mr. Hands. And we're actually going to be at a game coming up next Saturday together, Yumper and I. So if you see us, come say hi. Or if we see you, we're going to come say hi. So don't get shy when we come in and bother you at the game, because we're excited to meet you guys and have some interaction with you. And on that note, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.
Take it easy, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Yumper and Svo at the Show podcast, a Tan and Glove production.
That's it. I'm getting out of here.